Howdy and welcome to the Tom Hern Show here at Te Puna Creative Hub, where we are getting creative and we are talking creative. Creativity, filmmaking, directing, screenwriting, acting, you name it, it's all happening here. So lock in, check it out, we're about to have a yarn. So what does a producer do? That's a very good question. Everyone knows the director's the one who says action and cut, but what about us? What about the producers in the grind, behind the scenes, juggling lots of balls in the air? What are we actually doing? That's a question that I'm going to ask a couple of my friends who are coming to join the show today, producer Harsh Patel and Rachel Fawcett. So let's get into it. Shot, guys.
Yo.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Awesome to be here, bro.
Welcome to the Fix It and Prep/Post podcast / the Tom Hern Show. That's the narcissistic title, but also probably the most punchy and cut to the chase. So what do you reckon? Any other ideas?
All of the above.
Yeah.
All of it sounds great.
So,
it's,
yeah.
it's going to be great. Happy
I
to be here.
I like Fix It and Prep. Fix It and Prep is awesome.
It's a good
We want
mantra.
it to be Fix It and Prep, but it's most likely Fix It and Post a
let's
lot of the
be
time.
real. The optimist versus the realist, maybe we've already got on the panel. But anyway, I rant and rave before we even get into it. Rachel, tell us who you are, a little bit about where you come from, and
All right. I grew up in Auckland. I was an army brat. So my parents, my dad was in the army and met my mother in Singapore at a bar, real classy, real drunk. It all worked out. They got married. They had me and my brother. We grew up in South Auckland and grew up in a family that was very media literate, I would say. No one in my family is in this industry, but we love cinema, television, all that stuff. So a lot of my upbringing and a lot of my fondest memories is watching movies with my family, watching all kinds of movies. Like my mum being from Singapore definitely introduced me to more foreign films, which was, incredible to have that exposure. And yeah, we just, just so much of me growing up in that household was us watching movies together, and that's how we bonded. And so no surprises that I grew up and ended up doing what I'm doing.
yeah.
For me, movies and television were, I don't know, they helped me through some of the darkest times in my life. And then I ended up going to AUT studying television. Couldn't get a job in the industry to save my life when I graduated. Literally applied for hundreds of jobs, couldn't get in anywhere. It was impossible. So I ended up becoming a copywriter, and then eventually was like, fuck this, I'm just going to force my way into the industry. So I just started crowdfunding and producing short films by myself. So I skipped every step and went right to producer.
Yo,
Mean.
that's mean. Yeah. I mean, when I moved in as well, I sort of did a similar thing, a bit of crew work, but I definitely wasn't qualified to be a producer when I started producing.
Same.
Yeah.
It's that's exactly it. I was never a runner. I was never a production assistant or a coordinator. I knew nothing.
Yeah.
So I've learned everything backwards, which is
How it should be, I think. That's what humans are.
Just throw yourself in.
We reverse engineer.
Yeah, and it's just non-linear, right?
Yeah.
It's jumping back and forth and all over the show in the industry, and it also I think you'll both agree there's no ceiling on how much you can learn. So it's even once you start on that, then you go, oh, there's my black spot of knowledge. But I wanted to flip over to you, bro, for how you entered the game, because it's quite a funny story.
Yeah, well, it's
actually
the backstory of why I wanted to be in the business is quite similar to Rachel.
I went on such a tangent. Sorry.
No, not
That
at
is
all.
very minor tangential behavior, I would say. I've seen much more capital T on there.
So similar to Rachel, our first generation immigrant family. My parents were super strict. So one of the things that I found sort of solace in or escape from was just watching movies and TV shows. And it was just one of those things that I always wanted to do. When I was a kid, I wanted to be an actor. I used to do drama, and then I wanted to go behind the camera a bit more. I wanted to direct, and then I was finished high school, and I also did AUT, the old
yeah.
comms degree,
Nice.
majoring in film and TV. And then but while I was there, I found a job in sales. And I was just working part-time, and then COVID hit, and then after that I kind of found myself stuck in this sales role where I was making like decent amount of money. But I
What
wasn't.
sort of sales? Like,
It
what
was
were
like
you?
tech sales. I was selling like computers and iPads and phones and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So
Nice.
it was pretty cool. I'm a kind of extroverted person, so I like dealing with new people
Yeah.
and just like meeting new people and yarning with them and stuff like that. So I kind of liked that aspect of the job. But it was pretty like binary, like there's a conversation, but at the end of that conversation, a sale needs to be made,
Mm.
and that's essentially how you're
Okay,
measured up,
okay. So you guys you both actually found it quite hard to get in the game, and
Yeah.
so how did things switch up for you, Hush? What was your opener?
Well, there was this one fateful day where an old mate of mine, Tom Hern, walked in. That's where I
Hey, just
actually
to clarify, no offense, but we weren't old mates at the
We're
time. In
not.
fact, we were complete strangers.
Complete
Yeah.
strangers. But I knew who Tom was because I really liked the Dark Horse,
Mm.
and I'd seen some BTS stuff. One of my professors at uni, Jim Marbrook,
love
was the guy that did the original documentary on Genesis Sportini. So I was familiar with Tom's work. A friend of mine, Lani Siossi, was also working for Tom at the time, so I was familiar. So we ended up connecting just through an iPad
I
sale.
came into the store. I came into the Hendo branch, and I was looking for an iPad to use as a director's monitor.
Yeah,
And
Nice.
this was the guy who was at point of
Yeah.
sale, and you hit me up, bro?
Yeah. No, so we had a yarn, and
Yeah.
it was a good yarn as well.
Mm.
And I was just sort of asking Tom and picking his brains about what he was up to and what they were working on. And they were working on the Panthers at the time, which was like a really interesting subject matter for me personally because um, it's an interesting world and often sort of not talked about in mainstream media.
Mm.
So when I heard there was a scripted series being made about it, I was just like really interested. I think you just finished Shadow in the Cloud at that time as well, so I was
Amazing
just
movie.
really like buzzed out. Like at that point, I really didn't have any sort of experience in the industry apart from like a couple short films that I worked on. So I was just like really interested to hear, what the bro was up to. And then a couple weeks later, it all just sort of came together when on a Facebook page, on a uni graduates Facebook page, Crystal Vayanga, who was also working with Tom at the time, posted up a job ad for a social media coordinator, and I had a bit of background in like graphic design and stuff like that, so I chucked my name in the hat, and and that's all she wrote. And since then,
Exactly, yeah. So it's
Fate.
been pretty cool.
Fate.
And now Harsh is associate producer on our current feature film, Sharing the Love. He's which is a scripted feature. And then on our current documentary project that we're doing for TVNZ, he's a full lead producer on that
Amazing.
project. So he's gone from that retail sales role into like a bona fide producer in how
Look at
many
that
years?
growth.
It's
Yeah,
been
yeah,
awesome,
the
man.
man.
Insane growth.
Yeah.
I sure wish you walked into my workplace.
Yeah.
And Rach, how many years for you from like graduating to where you're at, and what are some of the projects that you've been working on lately, and what has that journey sort of been like from there?
I've been producing for like 10 years now. So I was copywriting and doing lots of those sorts of jobs, and then moved to London, hated it, moved back. And then I got a job at TVNZ in the marketing department doing social media, which I loved. That was super fun. And somehow I managed to meet the lovely Roseanne Liang. Now,
That's cool.
which is wow, who is also like a really good friend now, and I'm so grateful for her. So she actually gave me my start as a producer on a more professional level, because until then I'd been doing my, my little shorts or, not little, they're like actually really hard. I cried. But I met her. She was gearing up to do season 2 of Friday Night Bites, the web series. And for some reason, she let me come on board as a co-producer because somehow I convinced her that I was a producer.
Rock and roll. Wow, she's a good spotter of talent. So clearly she made the right decision there, and yeah. So from there, you've obviously, like Harsh, had a pretty amazing growth journey as well. And And what are some of your recent projects that you've been making?
So most recently, Noob, the TV series. So it was a TikTok series, and Victoria, my co-creator, and I, took it to Great Southern, who then took it to Tina at 3. And then we got commissioned for a series. So we made a season of that, and it went to Cannes series. It screened at Berlinale, went to Netflix Australia.
Let's go.
No season 2. But we slayed. We slayed.
Hey, join me, man. One season of the Panthers, one season of Madam. It's just like one and done. That's how we roll.
Evasive returning series, man.
I would love a returning series
someday. Those returning series people are people who actually have sustainable businesses, whereas we're just like indie producers out there scavenging,
Pretty
That's how
much.
we roll.
But grateful that I got to make that. The fact that I even got to make, at 34, my first network series. I'm grateful, made so many close friends on it, really proud of what we did with so little, really. Yeah. And then for it to have gone as far as it did overseas and be received in the way it was, really grateful for that. After that, I made a YouTube web series funded by New Zealand On Air called Literally Dead, with my friend Casey Williams, and we brought a lot of the new people on actually to work on it as well. And that was a cunty little murder mystery, which I loved. No season 2. I'm just basically, no, that's the title of my memoir. No season 2, but we slayed.
Maybe that's the podcast title. I'm gonna steal it before your memoir. You're still way too young to do your memoir.
No, yeah.
I'll get in first.
So that's been the journey for TV. And then ever since then, I have just been developing some features. Yeah. I am hoping to get my first feature as a lead producer to market soon.
Amazing.
So I'm just doing that usual grind now, just developing series that I hope will return, and developing films and
wheeling and dealing.
I'm just wheeling and dealing right now.
Yeah. Well, look, here's what I'm real keen to get into, really, of now knowing the kind of background from you guys a little bit, although I have that, but is just what does producing really look like? Because I feel like it's such a dark art. One of the most common things that I find is most producers that I talk to, even their mom doesn't understand what they do for a job.
No.
It's such a weird thing. No. Everyone knows the director is the one that calls action.
Yeah.
The director is the one that sort of gets a lot of the shine, especially in feature world.
Yeah.
Because it's even from an auteur European film or foreign film background, it's always the director who gets the award at a film festival.
Yeah.
Interestingly, of course, it's the producer that wins the best film Oscar.
Yeah.
So that says a little bit about the differences between Europe and America.
Yeah.
But just from our kind of perspective as independent producers in New Zealand, and for you, Harsh, you're more just entering the game on that level. But Rachel, what does that really look like for you on the day-to-day? And what do you do? When you say you're developing things, and when you I imagine a lot of the challenges that you face are similar to the ones I do, and certainly have done even more earlier in my career of making ends meet, finding development money, getting funding, proving that your project is the one that should go to the front of the queue to be able to get a green light. As you say, even the way you articulated that, I feel so lucky and privileged to have got a network show commission, because it literally is a miracle. I think, these tattoos that I have here, right? So these are each one of my movies that I've produced.
Flex.
And then these are my series at the bottom there, right? And the reason I got these is because literally the amount of blood, sweat, and tears, for real tears, Lots of tears to get each one up. You know, people don't understand. It's impossible until you're in it to know what that's like. But like, yeah, what does your day-to-day look like?
Oh, Tom, the things I could tell you. Some will be
Please tell.
Some will be for after this.
Bring it.
Please reveal.
Producing is, yeah, you're so right that no one actually knows really what we do, and it's impossible sometimes for me to even explain to people, and I find myself just not even bothering explaining it because I often can't. Yeah. Every day looks so different, and every day is for me, producing is producing people. That's the simplest way I can explain it. So when I'm developing, it is working with my writers, helping set achievable deadlines and goals, and feeding back on scripts, hearing them out, you know, having those really hard conversations sometimes creatively, but then also often working for free at 99.9% of the time 100%. working. Honestly, where I'm at today, where I'm sitting right now is really difficult. I'm like, it is really, really hard to go from, you know, you've made your first network series and you're like, oh, it's gonna happen for me and I've got no shame in saying this because I think it's important to say, like, I genuinely don't know how I'm going to pay my rent in a few weeks. It is a constant, it's a constant question mark. So producing for me is survival. It is producing people and different personalities and conflicting interests a lot of the time. It is trying to bring my own brand of things, which I like to think is like kindness and understanding and empathy, but also understanding that this is business. This is show business. You
are like hitting it right on the head there. Like, I think like a big thing that a producer has to do is they have to carry the commercial alongside the creative.
Yeah.
Like, and so there's a natural conflict between a finite amount of time and money.
Yeah.
Whatever you're able to raise, which often isn't actually what the project wants, versus like the dream that you have as a creative producer that your collaborators do, your writers, your directors, your actors, you know, so you're carrying a lot. But back to your thing about like the sustainability hazard of it, like, you know, you mentioned the Dark Horse, bro. On the Dark Horse, I worked on that for 4 years. 4 years plus, really, which is not uncommon. Like, but at that time I didn't have a slate of projects. I got a fee of $50,000 on that for 4 years of work, you know. And thankfully at that time we had some very cool backers who had backed our company. Some investors, Tim and Sasha Wood, shout out to you guys for believing in us back then. And we, and that's when I founded Four Nights Film with James Napier Robertson.
The best.
And we were on, but basically what we did, we were able to, because I raised that money, put ourselves on minimum wage. So we were basically with the 50 grand fee kicked in on that. But we basically, for the first 5 to 7 years of full-time producing for me, I was minimum wage or less. And even now, for me, now I have a mortgage, now I have a family.
Oh, wow.
And so it's a slightly different like sustainability challenge, but just like you, when this shoot finishes that I'm on and we go into post, I have to start thinking about what the next job is that I'm going to generate. That is not for wealth. That is for sustainability.
That's what people don't understand. And honestly, like, it's so, like, I've obviously followed your career for the longest time and look up to you a lot. I don't know how you've done it with with how much you've achieved. People would probably be so shocked to know that, like, you're not a millionaire. Like, or whatever. It's
well, a thing with that too, though, is it's the what kind of producer you are. You talked about your values, the kindness, trying to like carry the version of yourself that you want to be into producing, which is super hard because like, as you're touching on there as well, you also have to be bad cop. You also have a responsibility to whoever pays for that thing to actually deliver it completed, you know? But yeah, like, as you're saying, like the sustainability thing. So like I probably could have been a millionaire with the slate that I've produced.
Yes.
But my decisions have always been to put a chunk of my money back in to try and make the thing as good as it can be.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, same for you. And I know you would be the same, Harsh.
I wish I was a bit more greedy.
But
go ahead.
The one thing that, like, just based off what you guys are saying, is that I've learned is when this is the game, it's very important to sort of choose your missions and your projects wisely, because that extra mile that you need to go to get these things over the line, like when you're doing something, you know, that you believe in, that really, really helps, you know. Yeah.
I love that. Go ahead, Rich.
Oh no, I was just saying it is really hard. For me, if I can't do producing, I've always said this, and I try to remind myself this all the time because it is hard when you're managing the commercial side of things, and I'm not doing that very well. To be fair, if I can't be a producer in the way that I want to be a producer, which is working only with people I love and respect, and doing it in a way that is respectful of people, is kind, is, you know, that we're having fun as well, that we're having fun. If I can't do that, I don't know if it's worth it for me, to be quite honest with you. And that's probably why I haven't made, you know, a cent, you know, in many ways. I've survived, you know, minimum wage vibes if you spread it out. If I can't do it in the way that maintains my values, I would rather not do it. So so unfortunately that means that I'm probably never going to be a millionaire.
No, and that's the same as me. Like that's exactly the same, and that is why, like, even though I've had these opportunities, like it hasn't like kicked on to full on business growth. Like I did this cool course with David Court a couple of years ago, who's like a screen academic, very smart guy. And we did some really cool stuff of like breaking down the sustainability challenge from screen business perspective. So I actually feel like after producing I think I started producing in 2007, and for producing for that long and observing the industry and the market, I feel like I actually know how I could build a more successful business.
Yeah.
But as you say, that version of it doesn't align with my values.
Yeah.
And to your point, I just wouldn't get out of bed. Like, you know, I can get out of bed and grind like a beast if it's a story that I feel like has value.
Yeah.
But like if I'm just doing it for dollars and cents, the motivation just isn't there. Whereas all power to these people, but there are other people who get their biggest kick out of growing a screen business, you know, and they're more like, and good for them.
We
and
need them.
I admire them as well. And so I think as well with this group, we're only one type of producer.
Yeah.
And like to that original question.
The poor kind.
Yeah. That is us. And it's all good, man. It's all good. And let's be fair, there's levels of poor.
Like if I'm being so real, I joke about this. Like the problems are real, like the rent and the whatever. But I'm also very privileged. I have a supportive partner at home who, when I'm late on rent, they cover me, which I'm very grateful for, because not everyone has that.
No.
And if I didn't have Tyler, the best partner in the world, then
Shout outs to Tyler.
Shout outs to Tyler, because, you know, I would be homeless otherwise. Yeah. They've held me down during real rough times. So I'm lucky to have them. So I'm, you know, for producer, I'm doing but.
And I also didn't mean to like diminish that, that struggle either, because like it is very real. And like, you know, not to make this all about like a poor us type thing, because it isn't that at all.
It's
like
a privilege
it's a
what we do.
Freaking awesome life, but it's a lifestyle. And I think that was just what this conversation conveys. And like even at the higher end of it, like, you know, I've produced some productions like upwards of, you know, in the zone of like the $15 to $25 million New Zealand zone.
Yeah.
And the pressures and stress, like new levels, new devils. So like on those ones, the financial pressure can be quite different, because often the producer is actually carrying the fiscal responsibility of delivering the show. We had a recent production that almost bankrupted me. So
Oh, shit.
basically, yeah, we had a couple of unforeseen force majeure situations.
Oh, shit.
One of a COVID incident, and because insurance now, screen insurance doesn't cover COVID, that left us very exposed. And then very controversially, we also had a mental health incident where the insurer wouldn't pay out and tried to put the liability back onto us as producers for creating a stressful work environment that they claimed was triggering for this incident. But long story short, I ended up in a mental health situation. I was just back in full on therapy and like really just hanging on by a thread mentally, psychologically, purely just from financial pressure. So there's the personal financial responsibility, that's part of producing. Then there's the millions of dollars if you're so lucky to get a production up at that level that you're also responsible for. Yet, quite often you'll go on set and the crew will think you're the rich one who's
bit of a disconnect
crew. There's like
there's a disconnect on set.
Yeah, there's a disconnect between perception of the producer, like the movie version, or like the big Hollywood
the Ari Gold entourage version,
and then our reality, which is what we've been unpacking. But
are we scaring you? Because I know that you're like, I'm kind of like Tom's advanced, I'm mid-career, and you're like
not at all. Like the scaries hit me ever since like the AI of it all, and just the way the media is moving. But it's been mean just seeing where you guys are at and just where the industry's at, and just sort of figuring out like the path forward. Like I said, it's very important for me that I work on projects that I'm passionate about, because I see what it takes to get these things made, and it's not the healthiest at all the time, like it's a fucking uphill battle. But
it's wild, like being in the middle of production at the moment, it's wild, man.
A couple of you guys are standing right now. Like I visit set like once a week and I come in, eat the cake, and I'm like, you guys are doing amazing. And then I leave. You guys have been like shooting every day, like intense days, and you are here. It's insane.
Yeah. Well, I actually thought it'd be a really apt time to kind of unpack this, because we're in the thick of it. And it's like, so all of that stuff's fresh, but like, before we move on to, because I want to also, we're touching on like the challenges, but I also want to touch on the beautiful stuff about it in a moment. But you just mentioned something before, Rachel, about like, and it really resonates with me, because like in my whole career, something I've really battled with is like trying to integrate my values of what I care about with the film industry. And I think like the challenge of that is like, as I said, something I'll keep coming back to is the collision between commerce and creativity, or commerce and your values, or like the boundaries and limitations versus like how you'd like to run things. So like a film set is about as unartistic as you can possibly get in terms of the structure of it. It is more like, to hark back to your upbringing, it's more like a military system. So it's very hierarchical. It's very like, we're having lunch at 12:15. If you go past that, there's penalties. Like we're same with the beginnings of the day, same with that. It's like, it's regimented, it's military, it's hierarchical, it's like departmental, it's all of these things. So like I've had these like dreams of like, doing things in a more artistic, more sort of kind, or for lack of a better term, even spiritual, dare I say, kind of way. But it's actually like, it's like turning around the Titanic. It's like, so, often people from outside the industry come in and see that we run things and they're like, oh, why don't you try and do this or do that? But it's like, it's actually so difficult to affect change. And all of those ways of working with, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like the systems are in place, and it's kind of like a well-oiled machine.
And for a reason, with good reason. We're not, like a lot of people from the outside will come in and judge what producers do or have opinions about why things are done a certain way. And I sometimes just want to be like, guys, I'm not doing it for shits and giggles. Like, it's not because I want it to necessarily be this way, but it is. And I'm I can do as much as I can to
fine
make
tune
things softer and
yeah.
nicer for us, but it is.
But the bones of it
It
remain.
is what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
It is what it is, and I hate that, but it just is. You can't fight City Hall.
And,
So, I don't know. Like it's fucking hard.
Yeah.
and there's a
Yeah.
pretty natural evolution to these processes and systems that are in place, especially for the film business. It's a couple hundred years old now. But I agree. Like seeing this whole feature film production thing play out. One of the things that like I always think about literally every day is like, wow, we're just so worried about like logistics and time pressures and financial stuff. Like, is this the best sort of environment?
Well, this is what now for me, what you make me think
Yeah.
is what makes a great producer.
Yeah.
And for me, what makes a great producer is being able to block out all that noise and go, what does the movie need? Like, what does the movie need? How do I serve this story? I have these limited things. I'm juggling so much. The so-and-so's complaining about that. That person's upset about this. I forgot this or made the wrong decision about that.
Yeah.
And so I'm regretting this. You're carrying all of this. And then in the moment when you're called to make a decision, are you going to make the decision that is going to make the movie better?
Yeah.
And like I, as a producer, just try and simplify my mantra. Like I'm not into sailing or the America's Cup, but I think it was Sir Peter Blake who was like, what will make the boat go faster?
Right.
And it's just like, when you're in the heat of battle of production, that's what's running through my mind. And like, I am a servant to that project for that period of my life.
Yeah.
That's how I've made the best stuff that I've made. When we made The Dark Horse, it was before we had kids. James and I had kids. It was before any of that. And that movie was our God for 4 years, And so and it's actually quite a beautiful thing to just submit
dedicate
to that
yourself
kind of
to
immersion. It's like, Jiro dreams of sushi. It's like he is just focused on like that one thing with purity. And
the pursuit of excellence in any given.
The rest of it is noise. It's all important. You still need to look after people, treat them with respect.
Totally.
You still need to make sure you honor your financiers and don't be overindulgent and irresponsible.
Yeah.
But within all of that, how do I make this great?
Yeah.
It's hard. It's something that I find that I'm having battles that I thought I had overcome years ago crop up for me again, personally as a producer, like trying to do what's best for the project, but then knowing that I have to make decisions that many people will not like, or having to make decisions as a producer and not being able to actually share why, like for XYZ reasons. Sometimes you can't always explain why, because we'd be here all day. And realizing that some people are going to be real shitty with me. And as a woman who's grown up as like a chronic people pleaser, it's impossible. Nothing has put me through my paces more than producing as a people pleaser. Nothing.
That is so mean. Like, and the growth, because what you're touching on there as well is like the growth for us as people that comes out of the work. So yes, we have to be passionate about the projects, but I think the other thing that keeps us hooked is we're actually growing and learning so much about ourselves as well.
100%.
Massively.
Like, and that's the one where, because it can be lonely and it's a real challenge on you. Fully grew up as a hard out people pleaser as well.
Yeah.
So having those difficult conversations used to be so hard and scary for me. And just through practice, I've got better. I still don't find it easy. I'll never be that like hard line, like boss type.
I wish I was. I wish I could be like, this is how it is and whatever. But instead I'm like, is it okay? Like, we need to fly this person from Wellington and we don't have the money. And I'm like, I can't fucking be a leader. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
There is a reason that I am in trauma
different
therapy.
styles of leadership, man. Like it's your emotional sensitivity that you're talking about there that will make you a great producer in the way that, you know what I mean?
Nice to work with. I think I'm nice to work with, but I am definitely too nice. I know this because I get told this by friends all the time, because I've been in some really challenging situations, and there is a reason I am actively in trauma therapy every week, looking at a ball on a stick to try and be like, yeah, you're strong. Like you can make a decision and stand up for yourself. It is really hard.
Yeah, well, it's about like having a soft front but a strong back, like in a way.
And I'm trying to find that balance.
Exactly.
And it's hard.
I relate fully to that. And that's probably like, without getting too philosophical, that's probably like a lifetime of work too. Like we're probably not going to like crack that,
Not this year, no. I mean, according to my therapist, we got some more sessions to do before I'm ready for that. But I'm getting a little bit like it's really slow. The growth is slow.
Yeah, and just fine tuning that. But like anyway, it's your life, your career, your lane. But like I would just say like my read on it is like the sensitivity is more valuable than the like hardline strength. It's like once you lose like your emotional connection to the storytelling because you're like being such a boss, it's like that ain't it either. You know?
It's my superpower. It's your superpower. It's your superpower. Like you guys are such nice, good people. And I see that in how you work with everyone and how you lead. Tom is really inspirational to me because I know how much like how well you treat your team and how like, and I don't ever want to lose that part. Like I want to maintain that while making sure that it doesn't get taken advantage of because it has. It has many times.
Got it. Ditto for me, especially like earlier in my career and like definitely for me as well. And that's sort of like another thing as a producer is like I think when you talk about the people you work with is so important, but particularly, especially in a film context, in TV, it's more the writers, but in a film, it's like, who's your creative partner? Who's the director? Yeah. Do they respect you? Does it feel like a partnership, like a creative partnership, like you're being heard? Yeah. When you outlay the very real parameters that you're having to carry, are they listening? Are they respecting that?
Yes.
And I've been lucky that almost every film in my career, there's been a couple where it hasn't been the case, but the vast majority, all of those directors that I've worked with are some of my best friends.
Yeah.
If I had a dinner with 20 people, 20 of my best friends, like the directors that I've worked with, most of them would be at that table. Yeah. And so,
That's awesome.
Roseanne, James Napier Robertson, Max Curry. Yeah. These are like my best friends,
All great people,
and it's like, so it's like who you choose as your partner. Yes, the project, but also the creative partner.
It's a marriage.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is.
It's as I feel like, as much as important as to choose a partner in life sort of thing, your creative partner who you work with as a producer is so important. And there's a reason, like you work with friends, friends. Yeah. A lot of the directors I work with, actually all of them are friends. Yeah. They have to be. Otherwise I can't get up there every morning and work all the hours I work and do all the shit I do for free. Yeah. If I
don't like the person.
And these are the people
I ain't gonna work that hard for you. But if I love you and I ride or die for you, like Victoria, who I made new with, I ride or die for her. I would fight someone for her. So that's why I could get up and be like, I'm gonna have this battle, I'm gonna do this because I love you. That's how I have to do it. And I'm working with Roseanne Liang right now, who you love, I know, and I feel the same way about her. I ride or die for that woman. She is the best. Like the best collaborator. So I'll do what I need to do because I love her.
Yeah. And that's how it should be. Like I was just going to say, like that's how it should be. Like these are the people that you spend most of your time in the day with. Like you go home and you spend your time with family, but it's only a few hours. The majority of your day is with these, creative collaborators. So it's really important to choose the people that you work with and with the people that you love. Because at the end of the day, it's all about the journey, like sometimes you can get too caught up in like the end product, but it's the process of making these things that
well, it's both. Because then like, for me, there's people as well who like are only about the process, but like I'm saying all this nice stuff that I do really believe. Yeah. But like I'm a dog too. When it comes down to it, it's like, and we're in the trenches. And it's like, as you say, ride or die, like ride or die for your homie that's next to you when like you're going through all of that shit together. Yeah. And then it's like, if we believe in the project, we're ride or die for the project. Yes. And it's like the project like has to be the thing. It's not my ego. It's not your ego. But like, we've got to be willing to make sacrifices, put things on the line to make it great. Because like, at the end of the day, if you have a real cool special experience, but like you come out with something that's subpar, like you can't do that many times in your career. And that's like the pointy end of it. It's just like, that shit has to be popping. And it's like, that comes back to one of the titles we're trailing for the potty is like, try and fix it in prep.
Yeah.
If you can't, you better fix it in post.
Yeah.
But like, you can't be wheeling that thing out when it ain't at its best, you know? And it's like, and that is for me, like, I know I have my values of how I like to move, but at the end of the day as well, I will stay in that cutting room. I will do whatever I have to do to try and make it the best version of itself.
Yeah,
we ride or die for the project. Like, I'm in service of the script and of the project that I said yes to in the first place. And I only personally ever say yes to projects that I love with my whole heart. If I'm not in love with the team or the people, I just go.
Yeah.
I pass.
And you kind of have to get after it. Like, what are you like waking up every day? Like, if you're not actually just going to do your best.
Not for money in my bank account.
Pursue,
it's for, I'm going to make so many shady
we ain't getting
today.
much of that. So we got to fucking get after it, you know? Like, you got to chase excellence. I feel, and if it's not for yourself, it's for your mates. And that's why it makes it better to work with your mates and have a good time and work for a project that you believe in. It's all part of the same equation, right?
Yeah, damn straight. And like, let's like not get it twisted. Like, something can be extremely hard and extremely rewarding at the same time.
Two things can be true.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
And I think like that's a big thing because, you know, like, let's just flip it for a minute and come at it from like what we love about producing and I'll kick us off, but I touched on it before. It's like, you know, one of the biggest things now over a long period of time is I know that, like, you know, I've got twins who are 3 years old. I know I'm a way better dad to them because of my journey as a producer in the industry. One thing I love. I absolutely love the feeling of like, collaboration when it gels, like, and when you just have like, despite all the struggle, if you have 2 or 3 moments on set, you know, a day you're really rocking, but even if it's only 2 or 3 a week where you go, that was magic. Yeah. Like that feeling when all the stars align. Yeah. Like, you know,
fuels you. It's rocket fuel that.
Yeah. And then like, you know, let's pick 3 things each. My third thing for me would be like the feeling when like a big problem or challenge, of which there are many throughout a process, gets unlocked. Yeah. Like through just some lateral thinking or problem solving. It could be a creative thing, could be a financial thing. It could be like, oh my God, we can't greenlight the project until we raise another $250,000, and you come up with some fancy footwork to get that money and unlock it. But like the feeling of satisfaction of overcoming challenges and adversity. Yeah. So those would be my 3. How about you, Harsh?
I think one of the big ones for me is, and especially at like my career level where I'm just sort of starting off and I'm new to the industry, I find myself in deep waters all the time. Right. And when I first started, like those deep waters were super stressful, and the uncertainty, I didn't fuck with it at all. But you know, once you start traversing those deep waters and come out of it the other end, it's that sort of, if those wins fuel you and it helps you sort of build a level of confidence to just, you know, like if I got through that, like what else, like what other challenges does this you know, business have for me, and what can I get over? That's probably one of the biggest ones for me. And then again, like I'm a very people-centric person. Like for me, like my big life project, like life is the people you meet and you connect with. Absolutely. So through this business, I've, you know, had the fortune of meeting some really cool people, you among them, you as well, and becoming good friends with them and having the chance to jam. And beautiful. Yeah. That's some of the biggest ones for me in terms of what I take out of producing and the film is. Yeah,
that's so nice. That's so nice. 3 things. There are things, I swear.
No, good. Yeah,
I think for me, the things I love about producing the most is the collaboration. Certainly, the privilege of working with people that I love, and the as you say, like the one day a week where things go really well is the best feeling in the world. And when you've made something
unmatched, really, like it is and that is something that only people in the industry can understand. Like the real magic when it aligns against the odds is like,
the collaboration, the scene. I get a real kick from seeing my directors smile. That's my kink. So when I see Victoria on set and she's gotten the shot she wanted and it all worked out and she smiles back at me, I'm like, okay, I'm good. I'm so good. So yeah, the collaboration, the I think what you said before just unleashed something for me. The fact that I've overcome so much has surprised me. It has brought me like surprises about myself. And so I think the thing about producing is that every time I overcome a challenge that I thought was impossible, but I did it gives me a lot of like confidence and strength when I really needed to be like, well, you survived this, you survived it, you did. And not only that, you're now thriving, so you can do this, you can keep reaching for bigger things. So that is,
and it leaks into personal life as well quite a lot. Like we talk about it all the time, that like producing and just putting all these big things together, like it gives you a level of confidence where you can sort of traverse some of the more like buying a home, things, selling the home, like
me
help
getting
your family
meningitis
out.
At the end of 2024. I was like, that was nothing. I was like in hospital. I was like, I'm dying. But I was like, whatever. This is like easy.
Been there, done that.
The stress that I've been enduring, you know, or like as you say, like practical things. Like, you know, I remember going home for my mum's funeral, and it was like suddenly like the project management of like a funeral. Not that I did all of that, by the way, but my part of that was so sort of manageable compared to running a film set. You know,
it is. We could be like really good like party planners if we wanted to be, and we would have a blast.
We'd probably make more money.
We would make more money. Well, my backup career is like selling houses, because I feel like I would look really good on like the posters, like, you know, like
I was pitching a Selling Sunset Auckland series to.
I would get the villain edit though, for sure. I would say something real cunty, and then I would be the villain for sure, but I would look good.
Well, you're right though, because there is mad crossover. So I recently have sort of had quite a bit to do with this property development project, and I saw so much crossover from what we do, like where we have this idea, but in our case it's intellectual property to begin with, and then we raise finance around it in a very similar way. We in film, especially independent film, will pre-sell territories in order to unlock the lending against the remaining territories. It's basically exactly what a property developer does. You know? So they have the chunk of dirt, or, you know, the land, and then, you know, they prospect and, you know, pre-sell some units off the plans, the script, you know, which then once they've pre-sold, if it's, let's say it's, you know, I'm talking about like, say, a townhouse development or something, those pre-sales are what unlock the lending. That's what we do. Then we borrow against all the remaining unsold townhouses / territories around the world on independent film. So anyway, I'm going to do a separate pod on film financing and how that relates to financing in other sectors. But like to your more general point of it crossing over, absolutely. Like, if ever we remove ourselves or AI boots us out of what we're currently doing, we do actually have more transferable skills sometimes.
100%.
We can think when we're inside the bubble of it.
100%.
Thank God, because it's like on the darkest days when I like want to quit producing, and I go like, what else could I do? I also don't want to do anything else. That's the annoying thing.
It takes a special kind of person to do this stuff, and
I'm the
that's
problem.
The same.
I will be like, oh, this sucks, but then I keep saying yes to short films. And my partner's like, why do you keep doing this? Roseanne was saying to me today, like, didn't you tell me like that you weren't going to do any more short films, and now I'm doing a short film with her.
And boundary setting, which you've already observed
goes
as
out
a
the
work
window.
on for you.
Features, I hope will. That's the goal.
Manifesting features.
I've got some scripts. Things are moving, but it's, as you know, it's a journey.
And you are crushing it, Rach. Like, and so awesome to watch that journey of Noob and you know, but also just appreciate your candor around like, you know, the reality of it as well, and the same for us. But anyway, I wanted to move into like little bit of a gear change into like, so where the industry is going for producers and what we're kind of facing as challenges. And I kind of touched on it with the AI side of things, but like, you know, putting in, you know, like, let's put the crystal ball on the table, but like, where do you see the industry going and evolving from where we are at the moment in the indie producing space? So obviously we've all got our goals as individuals. I've actually moved more into the directing space, which you guys know, that was a big goal for me, which I didn't really know. But once I started dipping my foot in, so I'm like,
we're never getting you back to producing now. We've fucking lost you now that you've had that sweet taste of being a director. We're never getting you back, and the industry will be worse off for it.
The writing and directing I have been thoroughly enjoying, but like the producing and everything. And like, I think I get a sense of where you guys both want to go. Like, you know, Rachel, like you're just, you know, thriving and like perfectly positioned to move into features and you know, projects of larger budgets that can help be more sustainable.
Yeah.
As we're talking about all of these things, Harsh, you're like starting to move from like a junior producer role into lead producing projects. There's like a pathway there. And still in your 20s, AG. Yeah. So my guy,
what's that like?
Got a few years.
That's awesome. But like, what are we facing as an industry? What are the bigger, more global challenges that we're facing, and how are we going to achieve these goals for ourselves in the climate? Go.
I think attention spans. Shrinking attention spans is what we're sort of traversing, and the rise of short form content. And it's a good thing, right? Like social media, and then like the barrier to access, you know, like all these people, it's a blessing and a curse, right? Because the filter is lowered, right? Before, if you want to create like a TikTok series or whatever, like you need like a financier and a studio behind it and major champions. But now you could, you know, literally do it with a group of friends, and you know,
so there's a democratization of it. Like, so the point of access has been smashed open.
Absolutely,
to some extent, like at least in the short form world. I think still right in this moment, like making something long form, you know, at a certain standard still needs some money.
Definitely,
but the attention span of audiences is a real hazard. Obviously this came up a lot recently with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck talking about their project, right?
That viral moment, which is, I mean, the thing is, it's just a trend in media, right? But how that evolves and like where that lands, where I don't think we're going to get rid of long form content. Like, I just think there's going to be more specialized, you know, standout stuff that's still being made.
I think also, if I could, like, we just have to be better personally, because like, tell that to the producers of Adolescence. Like, did anyone have a problem with their attention span when they were watching that show?
No,
Baby Reindeer. Did anyone have a problem with their attention span watching those episodes? Like, you know, and like also, did either of those shows fit into what Netflix thought they wanted to commission? No, they were total like fringe dwellers. Like, they would have been
heated rivalry.
Everyone
thinks they know what people want, but they actually
don't.
Nah, exactly. So
and
I
it's
think
these like standout ones that sort of like end up setting the trends in the long run.
Exactly. And then everyone goes, give me something like Adolescence, you know, and it's like, oh my God, so reactionary. And like, that is one of the most biggest frustrations for me, is like the market conservatism, and like, even now in a data-led time, it's like, anyway, I digress. So I fully agree, though, that attention span of audiences, and even with those bright spots of like those examples I've used, there's exceptional examples. But the kinds of movies that I loved when I was growing up, and it sounds like you did too, Rachel, those more art house, more foreign film things, we're not seeing as many of those in cinemas anymore, like the theatrical... You know, the art house cinema side of things has become a lot more challenged. That financing landscape internationally has become way more challenged.
Even if you have an A-list cast person, I have a friend who's a in the biz financing side. And he said, even when you have an A-lister attached, it's getting really hard to even greenlight a project. You could have freaking Meryl Streep, and it's not, unfortunately,
a home run,
enough.
not an immediate check like it was 10 years ago.
Yeah,
you know?
and for Kiwi producers, like I'm like, how do I compete? It's I still firmly believe and have faith that audiences are still hungry for good stories, for smart stories, for films, and that they can and they will sit through something that has earned the privilege of their time. And that's something I'm really conscious of as a producer, about if someone is giving their time to watch something I've made, that is such a privilege. And I'm really grateful for them for that. And I have to continuously earn it. So we have to, in a world where, the decision makers have been really reactionary and saying, I think get us another one of those or another one of those. But they also never predicted that Baby Reindeer would pop off the way it did. Or no one would have predicted, like I said before, Heated Rivalry has no stars necessarily. And now look at them.
Yeah.
And so people think they know what audiences want, but then we get these outliers that perform so incredibly well. And I'm like, no, they want good stories. That is so clear to me. They still want good stories. So I believe I still have a lot. Yes, they do. Short attention spans. I'm speaking about myself as well, of course, because I'm not immune. I'm a scroller, but I still really believe in audiences. I believe they're there and that they do want good stories. And that they will sit through a film, they will. But yes, certainly things have changed. It is now not just 4 or 5 studios making X amount of films that go out to cinemas everywhere, and that's it was really was it homogenized? Is that the word? That was the experience of consuming, right? We all watched the same TV series at 8:00 on a Tuesday and then talked about it the next day on a Wednesday. It's different now. We have Netflix, TikTok, Instagram specific series. We have boutique cinemas. We have more commercial cinemas. We have a million streaming services. So we have more content that is battling for our attention. And but it's so clear that the hunger is there. The hunger is still there from the audience, but the fight is now getting cut through and getting people to see it.
Fully agree. And I think there's a consensus there from us, especially coming from Aotearoa, trying to cut through globally, like something bold, something authored, like the stuff that you're producing, Rach, it's just keep going. Cause and that's what we're all backing. Yeah. We're backing ourselves. We're backing the stories that we believe in. And all you can hope is that the stars do align at some point, it hits the bullseye and that, smashes it wide open. So we're gamblers in a way, we're dreamers. That's a big part of producing and the type of producing that we do. I'm conscious that we're almost out of time. But I'll just quickly touch on the one in my mind that I feel like we're facing as a challenge, and we talk about this all the time.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what the challenge was.
Yeah, it's just and it's a challenge and an opportunity. So either a dystopia or a utopia, but obviously just the AI discussion, and I just wanted to knock this around with you guys for a few minutes before we finish up. For me, I have like you guys will, I'm sure, a complicated relationship with the evolution of AI. The project that Harsh is producing, our documentary project that I'm directing, we've really leaned into working with AI as a creative tool. Yeah. And so embracing AI generated things as part of the aesthetic. And one of the reasons why we did that is just to actually lean in rather than because my gut reaction to the development of AI has been fear. And discomfort because I'm passionate about creativity and artistry. Yeah. And, it feels at the most binary level, a threat to that as an artist. But then over the years, I've tried to kind of work with that and evolve my view to it, to be open to co-creation. And so we're really, as a company, we're really leaning into that at the moment. But yeah, what I look to is like the future. I'm constantly contemplating what like a future 10 years like into the future looks like with like, and none of us know this. This is all, that's why I put that crystal ball out there. We're all speculating. But like, you know, if I, with no emotional attachment, what I see is like, I see a far more automated, creative process in the land of screen, you know, where a whole lot of, you know, unfortunately, like, you know, a whole lot of positions could be, you know, hybridized and lost, you know, throughout the process due to automation and like, to your point earlier about like the lowering of point of access. So the positive will be there's a democratization. Lots more people can tell their own stories.
Yeah.
But even in the middle of that, the silver lining for me is that I see that true authorship, idiosyncratic, honest storytelling will still remain. Like, because in a world where you're saturated with content, and now we're going to be saturated with even more because AI can even create content and be putting all of that in. There's going to be a yearning for us to the counter of that, which is humanity. And so I think like we are going to long for you to tell your most truthful story, Harsh, or to help Rachel tell her most. You know.
Like I agree. Like, just because AI can generate like images and it's like much easier to sort of prompt and generate all these cool images doesn't mean that artists are going to be obsolete. Do you know what I mean? So it's the same kind of, you know,
like visual artists,
artists like painters or, you know. So I feel like it's the same kind of thing with film, you know, the people that, you know, want to tell truthful stories that resonate with people and, you know, the essence of humanity and us as like how we are as people are still going to stand out. And I just think that AI, sometimes we like overestimate like how good AI can be. I still think, you know, the human imagination and what we can do as people is going to stand out. And I think it's going to be easier to like pre-prod, like we've already sort of experienced, you know, how much better it gets with using AI tools to sort of just previs and a bunch of other like different little things that sort of help make the process more efficient. But I think like it's been going on for years, right? Like even like wasn't at a certain point we were filming with film stock.
Yeah, and people used to think that visual effects were cheap. You
Exactly.
know, that was going to diminish the process. So
it's created a lot of jobs.
I was talking to one
you know.
I was talking to one of our art department people on Sharing the Love, and we were just shooting the shit, and he was like, "Yeah, I've been in the biz for like 30 years," and he was like, "When we first started off, like we used to have these like massive binders with like Polaroids for continuity photos. Now we like take photos on our phones, you know."
I'm old enough to remember.
And he was saying like back when he first started, he was like, they used to have a person, like it was film photography back in those days, and they used to have like a person that would run it to a studio and they would develop it within like an hour or two. Like there's no job for that anymore. Like there's no, do you know what I mean?
And there's
but
different
like,
ones now.
There's different ones, exactly.
I'm maybe being too optimistic. Maybe. Please no one be mad at me for saying this, but I am, it's not a matter of like, oh, should we embrace AI? It's here. It's here. People are already using it in productions. I've seen it. I think it can be a tool for good in many ways, but it does need sanctions and rules. Do I believe it will ever replace, or should it ever replace actors or voice actors? No, absolutely not. I fucking love actors and I will fiercely protect their beautiful craft because only they can do what they do. There's so many unknowns about the jobs that it could replace. It could end up creating new jobs, and that is going to be a fucking difficult, teething process. It's going to be really devastating for a lot of people. I don't doubt that. I do believe that there'll be ways that we can rock with it in a way that's going to be good, but we do need to be careful about mindful. It's a mindful embrace right now for me. It's a mindful embrace. I don't want anyone to lose their livelihood. I don't. But I just like you said with visual effects, how people thought it was a cheat, and now it's like there's
part of the norm. It's normal.
It's norm, and it's created thousands of jobs. That's great. I'm hoping AI does the same. That there'll be prompters and different, it will reveal jobs that we didn't even know need to exist yet. So hopefully that's what happens, and it creates a different way in for people. But I also understand the fear and the anger towards it. I'm mindfully embracing right now.
Yeah.
That's awesome, guys.
Quick little sidebar.
Yeah.
How have you guys found, like, I don't know if you use AI much, but I've found myself becoming a better communicator with just how, detailed you have to be with the prompts and stuff when you're using it, and how much, because like,
you're better at prompting than me. I'm so bad at prompting. Like the difference between our prompting, you're so much better with this.
But like, there's silver linings with all these sort of tech, because at the end of the day, what AI is just like a technological advancement, right? Yeah. And like, we don't use abacus anymore, right? Like these calculators and then these computer
that was
like, remember what we were talking about it the other day?
That's whack.
It's crazy. And so it's just, I think the most beautiful thing about us as humans is how we adapt and take on all these new tools. And so I'm pretty excited to see where it sort of leads in terms of where's filmmaking is going to go. Like there's not a lot of money being thrown around at the moment.
No. And this is kind of a response to that in many ways. The fact that people aren't investing as much, we've had to come up with some solutions. And
it could reduce budgets.
Exactly.
And, so no, I fully agree with you guys. And if nothing else, because we can't look into the future, the way I also see it is like, if change is on the horizon, like what a pretty dope, like romantic era we're in right now, which is like still doing it how we've done it. And it's so freaking awesome. And for us just being in the middle of a shoot to have like 40 or 50 people coming together with a common purpose on set, it may or may not always look like that. Yeah. But it's pretty freaking special and romantic. And so let's seize it now. But thank you, bro. Thank you, Rachel.
Thanks.
Yeah, awesome chat, guys.
Thanks for having us.
No, mean. Hey, thanks for listening, guys. That was an awesome convo with a couple of my buddies there. So make sure you check out the description, like and subscribe, and we'll see you again soon. Cheers.